Hey Christina, good morning. Just finishing getting everything ready. Good morning, Trinity. Thanks for joining. Hi Renee, thanks for stopping by today. Let's see if I can put this up there without knocking it down. How's everybody doing today? We're gonna make this beautiful card today, this Northern Lights beauty that a viewer sent me the idea, so thank you, Brina. Hi Donna, hi Jean, good morning. You're gonna finally get this stamp set? Well, they'll probably discontinue it. Thanks a lot. Just kidding. Hi Aileen, hi Brina, good morning. This is Lovely as a Tree. Speaking of, I'm glad you mentioned that because I got to grab it. Lovely as a Tree is the longest running stamp set that Stampin' Up! Has had continuously in the catalog. Hi Anka, thanks Trinity, that means a lot. Thank you very much. Hi Robin, Southern California sounds nice right now. It is really windy and cold here today. All right. So, what I'm going to do first before we make this lovely card, so here's the stamp set. So you could use any of these other images as well if you wanted to. But I'm going to share with you guys, my pre-order just came yesterday, so I'm going to share with you guys what I got. Yours is almost 20 years old, Donna. You must have bought one of the first ones, huh? Yours is probably wood mount, I'm guessing then. Before they came out with the two different versions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my pre-order with you guys. I didn't open it last night, even though I really, really wanted to, but I didn't. I figured we could do that together today. So, we're going to make this Lovely as a Tree Northern Lights card. I'm going to move this out of the way, though, just for a minute, and I'm going to bring my box of goodies up here. Let me grab my scissors. I did forget those. So, let me start off by saying, in case you're joining for the first time, thanks for stopping by. My name is Rachel from Rachthestamper.com, and I create cards using Stampin' Up! Products. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you haven't already, I'd be happy for you to join my newsletter list or to get on the catalog list. And to do that, all you have to do is send me an email to rachthestamper@gmail.com. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. And if you haven't already, if you hit turn notifications on this broadcast, there should be like a little button right here in the comments. It will tell you when I go live. That way, the next time, if for some reason you're coming in late, the next time it will tell you ahead of time. And you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find me on my blog at rachthestamper.com, where I usually link all of my photos. And I've been trying to do a really good job of putting one new Christmas idea every day. I'm going to do that through Christmas Eve. And thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate that. More people see me, more likelihood I can keep doing this for a while longer. Alright, so I'm going to share with you guys what I got for pre-order. And I believe it should be, yep, in here. So, if you are already on my list, you will get your copy of This Is the New Occasions catalog. As you can see, they're fresh and crispy, and you'll also get a copy of Celebration. This is beginning January 3rd. So our current catalog, the holiday catalog, does run through January 2nd. That's it. So they will be producing stamp sets, I believe, for like another week. So anything that's in the holiday catalog, like 95% of it, I think, is retired. You can find on my blog and on the Facebook list, there's a list of things that are carrying over. However, most of the stuff is going to be gone January 3rd, and most of the accessories, some of them are already selling out, so they will be while supplies last. I believe they will make stamp sets through the 21st. They will still continue to make stamp sets because they do make their own stamp sets. However, after that, it's just whatever is left. So if there's something you want to get, make sure you take advantage of getting it before January 2nd. And then January 3rd, Celebration, and then the Occasions catalog begin. I'm just going to open this. You guys should be getting yours probably relatively soon. So I can't show you the inside of it yet, but I can show it to you without the package. And this is the first time I haven't even looked in it myself. I've only seen it online. So Ooh, it looks so pretty. I can't wait. Some nice fun stuff in there. And then same thing with Celebration. So they do have 2 tiers this year. They have a $50 and a $100 tier. So maybe if last year you bought so many things you had duplicates, now there's a whole nother tier of things in here. Not sure how many things it is, but there's a whole nother tier. So there's some excellent choices in here. And there's actually something that's going to carry over into the new annual catalog, which is pretty exciting because I don't think they've ever done that before. So if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. All you have to do is send me an email with your full name and mailing address. Make sure you include your zip code, and I can send you a copy of the annual catalog and the occasions catalog. If you don't already have your occasions catalog, and I have sent you one before, yours will be coming soon. So just hang in there. It should be there probably within the next week or so. And then if not, if you don't get it, please do send me an email and I'll make sure that I get one out to you. But everyone that's on my list already should be getting one. So let me just show you some of the stuff that I got. So there's a couple really fun sets. This is a really cool set, and I'm going to show you what goes with it. I don't know the names of any of this stuff yet. This is called True Gentleman. So it's designer series paper, and you know, I can't show you the catalog, but I can show you what's in the catalog by flipping through this for you. So this is a really fun stamp set. Oh, they even have them all in there. Hold on, separated. Let's see. And then we can go like this and see the other side nice and easily. So they have all this designer series paper, which I thought was really, really fun because there's a lot of people that say they struggle to come up with ideas for men. I love this. It reminds me of a hat my grandfather used to have. And the pipes. But this is a really fun set. This actually has a coordinating stamp set and a punch. So let me find that real quick. So that's this. Truly tailored. And then there is a stamp that goes along with it. Got this punch that fits this. And then I think it also fits a few things on here as well. Somewhere. I don't know. I think there's something on there that fits. So that's really fun. And then there's one other one that I got. Let me see if I can find it. That kind of went along with it, but it wasn't really necessarily a coordinator, but I thought it kind of was funny. Let's see. Oh, man. You know what? I might have skipped that one this time. Well, anyway, it's got some really sarcastic sayings, like snarky things that a dad would say. I thought it was hilarious, so it kind of could go really well with this as well. So let me just move this over for now. So just pretend like you're not looking at that anymore. So then we also have a waterfront stamp set, and this was, I cannot remember who, but this was created by one of the $1 Million Sales ladies. It's a beautiful stamp set. The samples on this, it probably might not look like much here, but it was really, really cool. A lot of, if you're a beach or a lake person, this will definitely come in handy. And then this was another really fun stamp set, Birthday Wishes for You. It's just these 2 stamps, but this would be great with using the Stampin' Blends. And then there is a Magical Day stamp set. It's a wizard, a knight, a mermaid, a dragon, and a unicorn. And let me tell you, I have seen some awesome coloring. Mary O'Neill, I believe, made a really, really cool unicorn, and she did all of its mane in rainbow colors, which was so neat. But this one also has a coordinating die set, so you can cut all those little guys out, and then it's got some water and a banner and some little sparkles. So this is a really fun set. Then we have, I'm not going to show you the Celebration one yet. There is another set called In the Trees, and this was really cool. They had 2 trees with the hammock in between, or the light strung. They actually did this with the boxes. I actually did a second pre-order when they had the free shipping the other day, so there's some other things that I haven't gotten yet. So that's In the Trees. And then this is Picture Perfect Birthday. This is for making, these are candles. And then you have your little flame, or you can do your little, I don't even know what you call that, the 2D thing that they give out at parties that probably annoys all the parents. Gotta love my sound effects. So then there's another stamp set. This is really fun, and this is called Let the Good Times Roll, and it also has a coordinating die to make a 3D pop-up roller coaster, which these things get me every time. If you guys remember that carousel stamp set. So you can make a 3D roller coaster. How cool is that? With the little cart and the cars and everything. Oh my gosh, this will be so much fun. I can't wait to use this one. And let's see. And I also got, what's this one? Oh, I got this because my son loves the little drummer boy. So I got this. This is on the retirement list from Christmas. So I can use this pretty much at any time, I think. But this also has a coordinating stamp set with all those beautiful instruments. I've seen a lot of this done in gold and champagne and silver foil. Really, really cool. It's a beautiful set. And let me see. Oh, this is also some really cool. This goes with the birthday set. That Picture Perfect Birthday. It's some really awesome. It's a DSP stack. There are some really great pieces in here. And the neatest part is it looks so realistic. Okay, so I believe this one goes with the wizard. It's really cool. I don't even know if you can see that sparkle. It's really, really fun. This is like a Dazzling Diamonds. And then there's Dazzling Diamonds, and it's almost like, what is that, turquoise? Or I bet that's Tranquil Tide. And then there's stars. This is really pretty. So this is a washi tape set. And I also got, this is a new thing that I'm going to have to practice with before I even break it out and show you guys. But this is called Brusho. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this, if this is something that maybe people have had for a while. But basically, it's these colors, and they come in this little container, and you never open the lid, because apparently it goes everywhere. And it's really messy to clean up, and it'll be like in your nose and everything. So what you do is, when you get your little color, you take like a push pin and you pop a hole in it, and then that way you can also keep the push pin in it to keep it closed. So it's got powder in here that's activated with water. So you could do it two ways. You could either wash over your watercolor paper and then sprinkle this, or you could stamp an image and then you could sprinkle this on like a little scrap of, say, window sheet, and then you could wet it and then color with it. So it's not Stampin' Up colors, but these are like traditional colors. So it's red, there's an orange, it's like a yellow orangey red. There is Prussian blue, which I know I've heard Bob Ross used to talk about that color all the time, so I know that one. And then there's moss green and yellow. So this is something I'm really interested in working with. So these come as this 5-pack when you get them. So they're called Brusho Crystal Colors. So I have to practice with these before I, yeah, in your nose. Exactly, Donna. That's where you don't want that, is in your nose, because you know what happens. It's like when you garden and you're gardening in the winter and then you're blowing out brown stuff. TMI, I know, but everybody does it. All right, and this is a Whisper White. It's a, oh my gosh, it was called something pretty. Oh, organza ribbon. It's really pretty. It's much thinner than it looked in the catalog. I really like it. It's very pretty. So this will be really pretty for a lot of spring cards and communion and all that kind of stuff. And then they also have a silver baker's twine. So it's white and it kind of has some silver wrapped through it. This reminds me of the baker's twine we had year before last in the holiday catalog, the red and green. It's really pretty. It's got a little bit of sparkle to it. And okay, so let me just show you. Let me see. Let me show you really quickly the celebration stuff, and then we'll get to making this card. So this, you know, I feel like I picked something different, but I can't remember if that was the order I did the other day. Must have been. Okay. So here is some celebration stuff. I know you guys are going to fall over. I'm sorry, this isn't celebration. This is in the occasions catalog. And that's why I thought everybody would be so excited. I know everybody went so gaga over this last year. Look at this paper. It's the glimmer paper, 6x6. It's back. So I believe this is Lemon Lime Twist. I can't look in the book right now. Lemon Lime Twist. And this to me looks like a Tempting Turquoise. And then Dazzling Diamonds. So you get this in a pack. How cool is that? So it's a 6x6 pack. I don't know how many sheets are in here, but it seems like an awful lot. 24. So you get 8 pieces of each, I believe. 5, 6, 7. Yep, 8 pieces of each. Look at that. I can do math. So this is really, really pretty. So this goes along with like that wizard set, but you could use this for so much other stuff. But this is so, So, so fun. So I'm so glad they're having some more colors of the glimmer paper, because I really like that. And I know everybody loved it. So you definitely see you got a little tap spot here of glitter. So just make sure when you first open it that you're a little careful with it so you don't get it everywhere. But after that, it does stay on there pretty well. And I believe I missed, oh, look at that, I missed one thing. So this is the Celebrate You Thinlits. This goes with that birthday set with the candles that I was showing you. If I had this before yesterday, I could have made some cards to go along with it, but this is what I thought I was missing. This is one of the celebration choices, okay? So this is a $100 choice. So it has 3 die and says Amazing, Celebrate, and You, so you could interchange these. But these are going to, I believe, carry over into the annual catalog. So cool. Okay, and then here are my celebration items. So one is this. It's called Epic Celebrations. It's got some tennis shoes, headphones, a guitar, which is great because my dad plays guitar, so I can make some cards for him, and my brother does as well, so I can make them some cards. This is pretty fun. This was with $50. And I think this was another $100 one. Let me see if I can find my little book that's open. That way I can tell you for sure. Yes. Okay, so this was a $100 one. So if you get $100, you get this. It's actually 2 stamps, so Happy and Best. And then it has this beautiful script. You could use this. This would go really well with these, also with these celebration dies. So the Amazing, oh my gosh, this tape is like the strongest tape in the entire universe. Amazing Wishes. You could make, I mean, so you could cut this out and then stamp your image with it. This is going to go so far. So this is really cool. So this is 100. The Thinlits were 100, and then this is a $50 choice. There's obviously lots of other things in there, but these are the ones that I picked ahead of time just because I thought they would be really fun to use. And maybe I would pick some things that, you know, not everybody else had already picked and showed you, so you could see something different. All right, so let me move this box. And we'll go ahead and get onto our card. So thanks everybody for watching. I know I love those fonts. There's a lot of really good fonts in this catalog, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't order a huge amount of stuff. I ordered things, and I think I do this because of what I like. I order things that I think most people probably don't order, like the roller coaster, because that just reminds me of being young and fun and whatnot. So I like those kinds of things, and that's just my style. All right, so anyway, we're gonna make this card today. Thank you again, Brina, for sharing this with me. This was her idea. She actually made this for a challenge that she was in, I believe on Split Coast Stampers, and this is a beautiful card. Now mine looks completely different than hers, and I'm going to tell you why. You can do this with masking if you wanted to. So you could get either some paper, so if you're going to do masking, what you can do is you can get a piece of paper and you can kind of tear it, just like so, either side we'll just say. And then what you can do is you can hold it and just sponge that edge, that way you have a really hard edge. But this is actually the first card I made with this, and ever. You know how I do those kind of things. And I really kind of just played around with it. So you can be definitely more precise with this if you'd like to. It really just depends on what you want to do with the card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have my trees. Piece of glitter on there. I have my trees. I'm going to actually clean this off really quickly just before we start so I don't end up with a weird image. But I'm going to emboss this with white embossing powder. And then we'll move on from there. Okay, so I have just a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. So it will be a little difficult in the beginning to see just because it's white on white, but once we add the color, it's going to show really pretty. So I'm definitely going to use my anti-static tool because it is extremely dry nowadays here. My hair can tell you that. It's flying away like crazy. And I'm going to ink up the trees with Versamark. And I have had this same Versamark pad. As you can see, it's really gross looking. But sometimes it's nice because it lets you see where the stuff is if you're stamping on white. And it doesn't affect the image if it's dirty. So never, ever, ever throw one away. Just work with it. Alright, so I'm going to stamp this kind of near-ish the bottom. Alright. And oh, that looks really pretty. I'll put this over here. So then I have my white embossing powder. So I'm going to just sprinkle this on top. Oops. And just make sure you give it a good flick from the back. This is just regular Whisper White embossing powder, nothing fancy. You could probably do it with the shimmery white too, because that would be really pretty. It would give a lot of a sparkle to your card. So I'm going to turn my heat tool on and let it heat up for a minute before I hit this. Hi Carol, thanks for sharing and stopping in. So if you let your heat tool heat up before you hit your image, it's going to take less time for it to melt it, and then it's less time that you're going to have any warping on your card. Your card base, if you notice it gets a little weird, which it kind of does anyway, you can flatten it out. So it's not a big deal. But if your heat tool is hot when you start, you're going to have less time that you're going to be heating overall. All right, let's see what that looks like. Oh, whoopsie. Heat tool fell in the trash can. Oh, that looks super pretty. And it really, you know, as detailed as those, I know this is hard to see, but as detailed as those trees are, it really does a good job of embossing them really, really thinly, which is really cool. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get out, I have 4 sponge daubers, 1 for each color. And these are pretty cheap. They come 6 in a pack. So I have lots of extra of these. And a couple of them I even went so far as to label, just so I know. But most of the time, as long as you're in the similar color family, you're fine. And you can rinse these out and let them dry, and the color doesn't transfer usually. I wouldn't do that with black. If you have black or brown, I would stick with dark colors for using that. But we're going to start first with Lemon Lime Twist. Then we'll go Tempting Turquoise. Then we have Berry Burst. And then at the very end, we'll wrap it up with the Archival Black to kind of bring in the image color. And I'm going to leave this here just so I can kind of look at what I did, even though I'm sure this is probably going to look absolutely nothing like the first one. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm going to tell you two tips that I've learned as I've gone along with this. So if you notice when you have your sponge dauber on your finger, if you do, let me get that a little bit better. If you do a circle, it's kind of hard to get your circle to disappear if you're hitting really hard. So you want to make sure that you're really, really gentle when you do this, number 1. So gentle touch, because that way you won't have as many really hard circles to try to cover up. And I'm going to just re-ink this a little bit. And I'm going to show you guys something really quickly while I'm doing this. So you want to make sure that you're very gentle with your dauber. You can always press harder. So if you notice, if you have these foam pads, you'll get this little color kind of spot here. What I usually do is I will take a plastic spoon, and it's the same one I use for everything, I just clean it off, and just push your color down. And it will push all, that way you won't get like a big glop of ink if you're pressing into it. And then your ink will be a little bit more spread out instead of saturated into one spot. And then all I'll do is just clean this off with like a baby wipe or a paper towel or whatever. And then I just use the same the same spoon for everything. So just in case you notice that any of these new foam pads, the re-inker will just sit there in dots. So now it's kind of smushed around a little bit better. Okay, so back to this. So when you do this, you want to kind of be light with it, okay? So what I did was, I did a lot of the lighter spots. I was kind of trying to imagine. I've never seen the Northern Lights in person. That is one of my things I would love to see, though. But if I would imagine there was like some brighter spots, so I went with those first, okay? So you're going to kind of just really lightly go over your areas. It doesn't have to be the same spot. And I kind of figured, you know, sometimes I'm sure it does cast a glow onto the grass or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Again, I've not seen the Northern Lights, so I'm just going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Anybody on here seen the Northern Lights? I know I have some Canadian folks watching. I don't know how low you have to be able to see the Northern Lights, but that is one thing that I would love to see. That and all the whales. I want to go on a Canada trip one day. Stampin' Up! Actually has an incentive trip that goes to Canada, to Alaska, I'm sorry, this year. All right, so there's a little bit of green. Okay, so I'm going to leave this open because we may add some more back in. Now we're going to do the Tempting Turquoise, and then the same thing again. I kind of just filled in along the sides of what I already did. So same thing again with the Tempting Turquoise. Now this is a linen pad, so if you re-ink this, it's not going to look the same. This is the old style pad. This is the new style pad. I know a lot of people don't like the new ones because they're juicy. I like them so much better. I think they're much better to ink than this personally. I think it's just your opinion. But if you find that with the foam pads you're always getting lines or whatever, number one, pre-order the Stamparatus because it'll save you a lot of trouble. But number two, just don't press so hard. Like when you're doing your thing, instead of mushing, just tap. Just tap, and you won't get as much buildup, and you'll get a nice pretty image. So just keep that in mind. Just be gentle. So we're going to do our turquoise now. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be extra light when I push on this one. And as you notice, when you blend these together, it kind of almost makes its own extra color in there, because this one has a lot of colors, and I only used 3 colors including black. So definitely has a lot of color. And then I kind of let the same thing with the blue, I let it be its own color, go where it wanted to. I really feel like I'm channeling Bob Ross today. And if you have the circles, just kind of re-ink yourself and start on the edge and go out. It will help to eliminate some of your hard circles. I know it is difficult, especially depending on when you're used to doing something and you want more color. Like for example, if you're using the sponges you have to go harder with. The daubers you want to go more gently with, because they're just definitely will give you more of a circle look, and you don't really want that so much. All right, so now we're going to bring in Berry Burst. This should be our final color. We'll see how this goes, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just bring this in at certain areas at the top and just blend around a lot more with a lot less re-inking at this point. And you can see in there you have got like some purples, the green and the blue have overlapped. In some spots you'll find that you'll see like an orange, which is, I think it's really neat, because this color, I mean this card is going to be, no matter how you make it, it's going to be custom every single time you make it. It's never going to be the same, which is neat, because everybody's going to get a different card. So you could make 100 of these and they're going to look 100 different ways. A little bit more ink. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back just a little bit. I think I'm done with the Berry Burst. I'm going to go back just a little bit with the green and just kind of fill in a couple more highlighted spots, okay? What's that? A Good Night and the Northern Lights are amazing. From the North Port of Province. Thanks, Cheryl. That's really interesting to know. This is one thing I would definitely love to see, the Northern Lights. Absolutely. So right here, if you'll notice, when you bring this green in and you blend a little bit more, you're going to get a little bit more of like, there's an orange kind of hue around here. So if you want to go over a little bit, you always, you know, you can add it. So add a little bit to the Berry Burst if you wanted to. And I'm going to put just down here a little bit at the bottom. I'm going to just bring in a little bit of a green. It's going to get covered over with the black eventually. All right, so that's going to be it for now. So now I'm going to bring in my black. Now, when I did the black, I was really light-handed with it, okay? And I kind of brought the green in, but I made the black because it is nighttime. So I was very light with it. Definitely start off the page. So I'm going to move this, and I'm going to do this from the bottom this way. So start off the page. That way, by the time it kind of gets up to your trees, it's almost like a gray. So you probably could do this if you have the archival gray or the basic gray. Or honestly, the smoky slate might be a tiny bit light. But you could probably do it with those if you wanted to. It kind of also gives like that, like a graveyard fog, which it is supposed to be nighttime. So, all right, so then I'm going to just go around a little bit on the edge. And I'm fairly certain this is where Brina was telling me that you could make your masks that way if you wanted to have like harder edges of your color. So I kind of just went in between a little bit, just in like a few spots. Just added a little bit of a dark. And it doesn't have to be that you go in circles. I mean, you can go whatever way you want to go. If you want to make like a line, kind of an edge. And I'm going to put a little bit more down here at the trees, just in general. Just to kind of make that bottom a little bit darker. All right, so I'm going to leave it because I don't want to overdo it because we do have a little bit more bright. So you can see on this one. So this one, just the difference between these before we're even done. This one I did like smaller round areas. This is a little bit longer of a strand. And again, it just depends on what you want it to do. I'm sure there's millions of videos on YouTube and Pinterest and whatnot where you can see, you know, if you like something a different way, how you can do it. So you're probably just going to have to work with it and see what it is that you like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take, I have like an old tea towel here that I use, and I'm just going to wipe the color off of the trees a little bit so that they stand out pretty white. Now you could do this also with like a slightly damp towel, but you don't want to make your cardstock wet because then it's probably just going to get funky. So I'm going to just going over the trees. There you go. So it just kind of brought the brightness back to the white on there. Okay. Now the other thing that I did was we used to have this gel pen. I found it works much better than the chalk pen. The chalk pen doesn't give enough concentrated color for me, so I went with the gel pen. If you guys still have this, I know there's another gel pen. I think it's called a Jelly Roll. So any white gel pen will work really well. So what I did, you want to make sure this is dry, but just in general, what I did was I kind of just made like some little star clusters. So I kind of did some that were just like dots all over. And then I did some that had like a more of a star shape. So if you were to look in the sky and you see that little twinkle. And then of course, now granted on some of these I added in some constellations. I did do the Little Dipper and I did Orion over here. I just didn't get his belt finished. But it just depends on what you want it to be. So I do like, again, I like the gel pen. So if you still have the gel pen, I think the gel pen works much better to give like a more vivid white. And then you could have some bigger dots and then some like tiny dots around them. This is just, again, what you make of it. I thought it really gave a lot of a fun, more night sky look to it. And maybe that way people would be like, oh, yeah, it's the Northern Lights. Not that anybody wouldn't think this card was absolutely gorgeous anyway, but just make sure when you do your gel pen that you work in an order that you're going to not smear it, because this does take a little bit to dry. All right, and then finally, oh, that one got a little crazy. Okay, so then finally what I did was, of course, you know me, no card's done without the Wink of Stella. No, it's not glossy paper, Myrna, and you can go back and watch this. This will completely load or replay on Facebook when I'm done. It's just plain white cardstock, just Whisper white cardstock. So then I went back with my Wink of Stella, and I kind of added a little bit of shine because I thought it needed a little bit. And this one might be a dead pen. I think I grabbed the wrong one. And if you're trying to get your last bits out of your Wink of Stella, you can add a tiny bit of water to it. When I say tiny, I mean tiny, because you don't want to have like a huge mess all over your card. But what you do is you just unscrew this, turn your faucet on. When your stream is running, you squeeze this and you see it's making bubbles. It's going to suck the water in, not a lot, and then just give it a good shake and you can get like the last bit out of it. But just make sure if you do that, that you bleed it onto some scrap first, or else it's going to be all over your card. And you're going to be saying, that Rachel, she told me this worked and it's not working. And also, one other thing to be careful with is Wink of Stella is a blending pen. So make sure that your card is nice and dry before you start getting crazy with your Wink of Stella, because it is going to bleed your colors. So if you notice down here, there's some ink. Let's see if you can see that. There's some ink that when I spread that, it bled. So that's why I wipe it off on here a lot, just so it doesn't mess your card up too much. So you could put like some little swirls if you wanted to, like little swirly stardust or something, whatever you want to do there. But it does end up being a really pretty card. And then what I did is I just finished this on a piece of basic black. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, score at 5.5, and I just adhered it with some fast fuse. So let me move this over. And you're definitely going to need something to put on the inside of this, but this will make a lovely Christmas card. Come on. This will make a lovely Christmas card or a really nice birthday card. I mean, a thinking of you card. Kind of really any way you wanted to make it. You can make it into almost anything. And I did find And again, this is just, you know, everybody does everything just a little bit different. I didn't really want to take away from the card. I thought it was so pretty. So I didn't put a sentiment on the front. So if I were doing it, what I'll do is add in a whisper white panel and then stamp something. I didn't even do it on this one yet. Stamp something on the inside because the front was just too pretty to add anything to. Now, if you had maybe like a really thin, fine word, for example, maybe one of the, you just have like some long words with a long scroll with a word in it, that might be really pretty at the bottom. That will be all I would do. I think I would keep it just for the front of the card. That way they can appreciate it, because I almost think a sentiment would just take away from it. So again, you could do this either way you like. This one has a little bit bigger. This one is more of a long strand. So just depending, and you can practice with it. And I guarantee you one thing, if you don't like your card and you let it dry and you come back, you're going to look at it completely differently. Because when I first did this, I was kind of like, I liked it. But it really, and then when I added in the stars, it really didn't do it for me. When I added the stars and then I let it dry and I came back, it was so pretty. And I think this is one of the simplest cards. The color combination, again, so we used the black just to kind of give the dark sky. But the Lemon Lime Twist, Berry Burst, and Tempting Turquoise really made a beautiful color display. And again, this doesn't have any more colors. These are just blended more than this is. So this has more of the actual 3 colors in it, where these I kind of blended over a little bit more. So you can see this one has like a little bit more orange, a little purple. The green is like a dark green as well, because I think I merged the Berry Burst and the green together. So these are really pretty, and they're going to be completely unique for anything that you do. So thank you guys as always for joining. I really appreciate it. Just as a quick reminder, Stamparatus pre-order is still going on, so you can go to rachthestamper.stampinup.net. If you haven't already, you have to create an account, and then you're going to pick me as your demonstrator, and then it's got a little box there where you can pre-order your Stamparatus. They are holding that open, I believe, until the 30th. And then once they fill that, they will fill all the orders in a first come, first ordered, first getting basis. And then this will not be available. The Stamparatus will not be available again until the annual catalog. So this is the final pre-order. I hope to be getting mine February 2nd so I can share all these cool things that I've been doing that I haven't been able to show you. So it's a lot of fun. It's really great if you have arthritis or kind of any general like little shaking issue, that you get either lines around your stamps, which even happens to me. Trust me, it's not unprejudiced, but if you like ink the edge of your stamp here, and when you press and it rolls, you'll get a halo around it. This like virtually eliminates that. And it makes it so easy to make multiples of cards. If you have a lot of cards that you make for people, or if you don't make a lot of cards but you would love to, this will make it immensely easier. So make sure, if you haven't already, that you pre-order that. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for your support. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me on these videos, which are sometimes long and sometimes short. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you back next Wednesday at 9:30. All the instructions for this are on the blog right now. It already posted this morning, so I'll just add the video to it. So thank you guys so much for all the hearts. I really appreciate it. I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for watching.